In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your Vortex 250 Pro by ImmersionRC with the RadioLink AT9. This RadioLink AT9 is available off of HeliPal and is very popular with the storm racing drones. This is a storm racing drone 180 class version. So I use this drone with this radio and some other aircrafts as well. However, there aren't that many video tutorials available or any guides on how you set up your Vortex with the RadioLink. They all apply to very other popular radio systems such as the FR Sky Tyrannus, JR, Futaba, Spectrum, etc. This is actually a pretty good radio system for FPV, and it has pretty much all the same features as the other radios. It's just there's no guides available for this. So this video will cover how you set this up. So with your Vortex, you'll need to remove a bunch of screws, so 10 screws to be exact, to remove this top plate. For video, I also removed the side panel just so you can see the insides a little bit easier. So once you remove the top plate, you're going to get to a view like this. Oh, just to mention, I have the newest revision of the Vortex. As you see, the back LEDs right here have a little reflector cover thing right here. And also the LEDs are all in parallel. They're not staggered as with the first version or revision of this. The reset button or change the video channel and also change or go back into wizard mode is the button has been moved down, and it's also recessed because of this cover. So it adds a little bit more reflectivity or output of the LEDs, and it just protects it and looks nice. Also included with the Vortex is a CPPM cable for different type of receivers, but we're going to be using S.Bus protocol, so we won't need this cable. Also, I also mounted a GoPro, but I guess when you get out of the box, the GoPro mount isn't mounted. This takes a long time to do, so if you're going to mount your GoPro and you're going to change other stuff out, you might as well do it all at the same time. So with this thing being open, we're going to just remove this cable right here, the CPPM cable, and also we're going to pull out the FPV cam cable here, because this is a really short cable and we don't want to break the connector as well. It'll just make it easier, so we'll have easier access on getting the inside. So next we're going to pull this cable out of the chassis, so we got to get it out of the rubber inserts. So next, two cables were included. We're going to be using this one, I believe it's I guess they call it the Spectrum cable because they have some of the wires changed, and it's also the S.Bus cable. So you're going to want this cable, not this one, because this one doesn't fit on the radio receiver. So this is the R9D. I believe they have a R6, which is the 6-channel version, but it also has S.Bus. So you could use either or. With S.Bus, you're going to be only using one port and not all the other channels. You could use the other channels for some enough you want to do, but S.Bus puts all the channels down with one cable. It's really nice, low latency. It's been very, very popular over the last few years. Also, since this receiver is pretty small, I might be able to mount it inside this, because since this is part of HeliPal's radio receivers, they actually end up, for making the micro receiver, they pull the cover out and they solder, they remove these pins right here. So if you see on this 180 drone, I did something similar and they as well. I figured out how they did it with theirs, and then I put that in there. So I'm gonna probably do the same thing. I'm gonna take some final dimensions and I'll probably just put it in this end right here. Look, from the looks of it, this radio can just fit right in there, right between arms. So I just need to make it flatter, put some Kapton tape, and then just seal it up, and I can have the antenna just hang out or mount it somewhere. But that could be done after the video. So we're gonna plug this. We're gonna keep this the top off and everything for this video. So we're gonna plug this S.Bus cable in. So make sure you know the polarity. Check the orientation polarity. So right here it's minus, positive, and then signal. So you just plug it on the bottom right here. And also, if you end up reversing it or flipping it around, you're not going to burn out the receiver, since ground and signal are going to be switched. So just, you don't see anything connected, you just swap it out and just flip it around and just plug it back in. So next we're going to be using this port right here. This is for the Spectrum S.Bus and the X.Bus as well. S and X.Bus. So just plug that in here and voila. You're almost ready to go. Next thing is we're going to put the video antenna on here for the video transmitter, because it's very, very bad to power on the video transmitter without an antenna on there. Otherwise, what happens is you can risk burning out the video transmitter. All that radiated power needs to go somewhere, and it needs to be on a load. So an antenna acts as a load, typically 50 ohms, if I remember right from my electrical engineering days. Screw that in, put it in pretty snug at least, and then we'll also plug in the FPV cam. Why not? Just carefully plug that in back. Almost there. I kind of wish they made this wire a little bit longer. There we go. Okay, that's plugged in. We're going to plug the battery in, just double check for that no screws are hitting anything electrical that could cause any unwanted shorts. And also, this is when you pull apart your Vortex, this is just a grounding plane, so this goes in between this upper part of the chassis and the video transmitter. So it'll bend down like this, and it'll ground the video TX. It's not needed for this part, so but when you're flying and stuff, it's a good idea just to put that back. It even talks about it in the manual. Okay, so we're gonna power the system up. You can hear some annoying beeps. You can also power up your transmitter as well. So the required materials to continue with this, I should have mentioned at the beginning, is you're going to need an FPV monitor. You can use your Fat Shark goggles, your Sky Zone, whatever you want, to tune into this, and you can view the on-screen display. We're going to do everything via OSD, on-screen display. And also, make sure to remove the props off of the quadcopter, because you don't want this motors accidentally spinning up with the with the propellers on there. Otherwise, you can cause some serious damage, hurt yourself, or whatever. So again, remove the props. And also make sure that your video TX antenna is on. So right now the thing is in, I guess it's finished booting up. I had this configured already, so it changes to blue LEDs, but it will stick with green when you first power the thing up. Again, make sure you remove the propellers, and we are ready to go. So if you haven't already bound your receiver with the RadioLink, it's very, very easy. Everything is done on the receiver. So you find a little small pokey tool. We're going to use this little hex wrench. You find this little open port right here, and then you push this little tiny switch. So you hold down, and now it's in binding mode. So it flashes, and it's looking for a signal, and boom, it's bounded. Very easy. You don't have to do any special weird things in menu like the other radios. Also, make sure it is in S.Bus mode. So it's blue and purple. This is S.Bus mode. If you need to change, if you're in a different mode, like I think PPM, you would press this in double tap the switch. So 1, 2. Now it's in a different mode. We don't want to be in that mode. We want to be in S.Bus mode. So change it back to S.Bus mode. Double tap, and we're good. Now we are ready to start. So we're gonna turn on our FPV monitor. I'll click the auto scan function. So when you first turn on the quadcopter and do 0 configuration, the default channel is going to be Fat Shark 1, which is, I think it's 5740. I move it down to a different channel because I like Boscam E, I believe this is the one. Works better in my area. So you have your TX already set up since my radio has been bound. I can show you this process again. So what it looks like when it's starting up. So we'll just plug this in. So now it's detecting the RX, the receiver. So it's scanning through different modes. There's spectrum, CPPM, S.Bus. So it goes through all the different protocols, and once it's finished booting up, so now, okay, it's detected, okay, there's an S.Bus receiver right here. Now it's going to boot up, finish booting up the flight controller software. So this LED moves a little progress bar, flashes a couple times, almost there. I'll wait till this part. So if you notice it says center all controls. Before I do that, we need to change some stuff in the radio. So there's two channels we need to reverse. We need to reverse the throttle and the the elevator. So left and right stick. So if you see right here, when I move the stick up right here, it's actually backwards. And same thing with the elevator. So if I move this down right there, you see, wrong direction. We wanted it the other direction. So before we center all controls, let's go to the menu right here. So unlock the radio. Hold that. We're going to go to mode. I also named it as Vortex just to save some time. Also, from brand new, make sure you go to model type and you select the aircraft. You want to have a little picture of this little quadcopter right here. We'll go back and we're going to go to reverse menu right here. And then we're going to reverse the elevator. And then hold down the button. And then we're going to do the same thing with throttle. Now they're both reverse. End. And there's some other settings that I like that HeliPal does with their storm drones. I can give you, post them in the video description with all the settings and pictures of the screens I have that I use with the storm racing drones. So I like to follow with these ones. There's different settings and stuff, so it's nice. So we've done that. So let's go back to setup. Okay, as with other videos, follow the on-screen display. So we're going to center all controls. So we're going to center the throttle. Now we're going to move roll. So roll is this stick right here, the left, right stick, and we're going to move it to the left and hold. Whee! Turn to neutral. Move yaw. Yaw. To the left and hold. This is yaw right here. You turn to neutral. And then, sorry, I'm just lowering the exposure to the camera. Move throttle to minimum and hold. There we go. Whoopee. Now we'll return back to neutral. And now we're going to move pitch, which is up and down on the elevator right here on the right stick. I don't really like these terms, elevator, throttle, yaw, ailerons, same thing as roll. So try to change the term intermittently with each other. So we're going to move it back and hold. Move back to normal, the neutral. And then we're going to move the left stick, which is this one, the throttle, back. And then we're going to move it to the left. Boom. And then return to neutral. Okay, level the quad. So let's make sure the quad isn't on anything. Seems pretty level to me. And then we're going to move the right stick back and hold. So, right there, pitch. And that is it. It's going to play a very repetitive or extended version of Star Wars Darth Vader song. Very extended, and it's kind of annoying in my opinion, but... Alright, cool. So, we can actually start up the quad. So let's make sure nothing is interfering with this. I can actually remove the camera cap as well. Why not? Okay, so we got a view of my little 180 drone. Okay, so to arm it, we're gonna move the throttle stick down to the bottom left or bottom right corner, and you see that, oh my god, it's starting up. See, lift up, rotor spin up, and you can test that the stick's over here. So when we move the stick up here, this stick right here, the elevator, up to the top right here, this side will get slower, and this one speeds up. I still need to set up the annoying buzzer sound. So this is so when you land your quad, you can find it after that. So when you land, the buzzers will go off. There's a way to turn that off. I need to figure that out. Disarm, you can just move that way. So after you're done flying, we can do the flight summary. Well, it shows you the flight summary. So let's reboot the system. So we'll just power cycle through this. And then we'll go through the OSD menu real quick. So right here, I have my battery voltage. Also, make sure your battery is charged up too, so before you attempt to set this up, just for good measure. So this is what settings I'm using. I'm using a 4S battery, so 4S cell LiPo with 1300 milliamps. That's the default typically. Make sure before you fly, set the battery capacity. You can also set up your video transmitter frequency in the OSD, which is really nice. Of course, when you set that up, you're gonna have to reset your channels to match that. Otherwise, you're gonna blank screen. Okay, so to get in the OSD menu, we just go to we're gonna go disengage the quadcopter. So just hold that down here, or I guess we gotta get out of that. You just hold that down here. Now we're in the OSD menu. So in OSD, you just use this stick to select and everything. It's really nice. Okay, so let me put the camera cap back on so you can see what I'm doing. Much better. So OSD setup, we just use our right stick right here. So move to the right to select the menu. There's Easy OSD. There's Air Race. There's HUD. There's Gamer. I like Easy OSD. It has all the voltages, battery capacity. That's really important for me when I'm flying, so I know, like, hey, my battery's getting low. I got to better land. Margins, they're just, I guess, different viewing regions. So there's safe mode, HD. I guess it's the little area boxes, so you know, like, hey, if you're approaching this part, you're gonna hit the, you might hit something. I don't know, it might be useful. I gotta experiment around with that. Pseudo, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, pseudo, yeah, you can change the name of your quadcopter. So this, I guess it's ImmersionRC OSD or something. You can change it to whatever name. Maybe I'll call it like Matrix Wire. I don't know. So you're selected with this by the little asterisk. We'll do that later. We'll just get out of that. Units, select unit, US or metric. Whoops. Since I'm in the US, I'll just select that. Telemetry enabled. You can turn that on or off. Some people like the off if it's too distracting. I find it useful. Very important is set up your battery capacity. If you're using 800 milliamp packs, put that in there. So you can just dial that in and use the sticks to change it. And you can change the beeper frequency. Maybe I'll change it higher. Whee! Higher, higher, higher! Oh, deeper, deeper, deeper! Anyway, I'll keep it on 1800. Why not? Okay, LED setup, the fun stuff. You can change to blinking. I guess, I don't know, that's kind of annoying. You can change that. You can just turn the whole thing off. But of course, LED board looks awesome. You gotta use it. Parameter mode, you can use intensity, change it to less bright or brighter, or gradient. You can shift between blue and whatever you want. So yellow, and then oops, maybe white, and it can it'll like fade between the two. I'm just gonna change it to none, and I'm gonna use I like blue, so we'll just change the blue. Video TX, you can change the frequency. So you just select what frequency you want. So just go up and down. Pretty self-explanatory. Game setup, that's like if you're doing racing, you're against yourself, you can do how many laps and whatever. Don't really plan to use that yet. Flight control, different profiles you can set up. You get up to 3 PIDs. You can adjust those settings, which are really nice. RC setup, which is the you can set the different rates and everything. I'm going to actually increase this to be a little bit more. Flight controller setup, you can rewrite the firmware. You can calibrate the accelerometer. I might just do that anyway, so it's pretty easy. Just leave it on here. Done. Oops, clicked it again, sorry. Erase the black box, that's all the flight information stuff. It's up to 2 megs. I don't really find it useful yet, but some people will. I'm just showing you right here just different features of the OSD. I hope they add more stuff. It'd be really nice if you could adjust the tones and the low voltage settings. That'd be really nice. Be able to add it up in a new firmware. Pro tuning, you can use different presets from very famous and high-end pilots. I'm going to just stick with default. I'm still getting used to FPV, and I've only done about 10 hours. I need way more hours to be considered good. And of course, crash less. See your firmware. I bet there is a firmware update on here, so check that. Diagnostics, you can really run the wizard again if you want to reset up this with another controller. So that pretty much concludes the video on how you set up with the RadioLink AT9. Very easy. Just a recap. Make sure that you reverse the different channels. If you go into mode and you go under reverse, to make sure you change reverse the elevator and the throttle. So these two. So you need to reverse these and this. So up and down for those two. And also, as an add bonus, let's set up the fail-safe as well. So so in case your transmitter loses power or this thing becomes disconnected, you want to make sure that, I don't know, for me, I like to have it kind of hover back down gently. Some people will cut power to the motors completely and just drop. It's better than having it drift away, as if it hits someone, it's really bad or something. It's better just to have it fall down, and you can just figure out where it is from there. So we'll go to throttle, and we'll just use this stick right here and put it in failsafe mode. So failsafe right here, if you click right here, so you adjust your throttle to your settings. Let's say if you do full throttle and you hold it right there, there's 83% throttle. Don't do that, that's a bad idea. So we're going to lower this all the way right here and just hold down, and now it's at 15%. That's not bad. And then just confirm that, and you can do with other settings you want. So leave it at 15. There's a bunch of other settings you can adjust if you want. I think these settings that HeliPal uses for these switches right here are nice. There's 3 different flight modes before I conclude the video. 3 different flight modes. Let's get out OSD. Okay, so we're out of OSD. So we'll start up the engines a little bit. So now see this right here. So if we change the sticks right here, we're in angled mode. So angled mode is a kind of combination of horizontal is the easy mode, and then horizontal is the kind of combination of I guess rate mode and angle. It's kind of like for racing, and then you can do acro mode as well. So 3 different modes I have at different thresholds. So when I flip this switch all the way to here, like between sport and freestyle, I can do barrel rolls. Some people just like to have only 3 switches to do whatever. I like to kind of like go in progressive terms. Very easy to do. So batteries and everything. And then let's also test the failsafe just for good measure. So I'll put this for medium throttle, turn this off, and the motor should cut down. Perfect. Let's do that one more time. So now it's trying to figure out where the radio system is. There you go. And we'll just cut this motor right. If the worst came, like let's say your receiver got damaged, disconnected, power that up, and there you go. See, motor just cut out. Very, very good to have. Set up your failsafe. Make sure you do that, and as you don't want the worst to happen. So yeah, this concludes the video. If you have any questions or comments, or any other improvements you want me to do, or anything else, please let me know. And as always, have a nice day.